The Prime Minister has been stood up at the G7 after Donald Trump left the summit early and thus cancelled what would have been the first face-to-face discussion between the pair. It means Anthony Albanese will leave Canada without discussing tariffs, defence or AUKUS with the President, all considered high on Australia's global agenda. The next opportunity for the pair to come together has been touted for September during a UN leaders gathering. For their take, let's bring in Housing Minister Clare and National Senate Leader Bridget McKenzie. Morning to both of you. Clare, OK, September, a few months away. Is that too long to wait, or should the PM make a special trip to the White House?
Well, what's happened is a very unremarkable turn of events, really, Nat. That is that at a global meeting, the US President has had to leave early because of this escalating violence that we're seeing in the Middle East. And of course, it's not just Australia that's had to defer those bilateral discussions. India, Korea, Japan and other countries have been in exactly the same boat. We're working really closely with the US regime at the moment. You would have noticed that the Deputy Prime Minister was actually sitting down with the Defence Secretary just last week. So lots of conversations going on and lots of good work to make sure that we maintain that strong relationship that we've had with the US over a long period of time.
It did seem like we were a bit caught on the hop because our Prime Minister was doing a press conference and something like 5 or 6 minutes later, we've got the US tweeting that they're leaving. So it did seem a little remarkable.
Look, I think anyone looking at the situation, Nat, could understand President Trump is uniquely placed to help assist with some of what's going on in the Middle East at the moment, and global events have led him to leave the summit early. So it is what it is, and Australia's got a really, lots of different levels of dialogue that we're having constantly with the US, and we'll keep doing that in the interest of Australians.
OK, Bridget, what's your take on this?
Well, it's understandable, Nat, that President Trump had to leave the G7 given the severity of the issues in the Middle East. But I know Clare talks about the other world leaders who had their face-to-face meeting cancelled. They've met the President. Zelensky has sat down with the President. Prime Minister Modi from India has already sat down with the President back in February. So the reality is that meeting President Trump and sitting down and developing that personal relationship hasn't been our Prime Minister's priority. And it shows, and now it would seem, particularly as is scheduled second last, it's not a priority of the President. And our relationship, this very important strategic relationship, has essentially been outsourced to the UK's Prime Minister, with Keir Starmer being designated our handler, which is a real problem given the number of issues that we need to talk about with the President. So get on the plane, Albo, please.
Yeah, Claire, did we leave it too long to go? I mean, Keir Starmer got a deal, but he was in the White House in February.
That's right.
Look, Nat, just, regarding those comments from Bridget there, I don't think this is the time to, be, trying to play domestic politics about these things. We've all got the national interest at heart here.
But people have been saying for
exactly
months,
what he should be doing.
Go.
And,
That's right.
Nat, in the 3 years that we've been in office, we've dealt with a lot of difficult issues on the global scene, and we'll manage what's going on in the US as we do with all of these matters. We'll do it deliberately, we'll do it calmly, and we'll do it with one thing in mind, and that is the interests of the Australian people, and that's how we'll continue to progress the discussions with President Trump.
OK, let's move on now. A shocking new report has found the number of Aussie kids injecting Ozempic to manage type 2 diabetes has risen dramatically in the past 3 years, up to 2,800 kids nationally. There are now fears among GPs that prescriptions are being sought for weight loss among teens too, despite the various health risks. Is this a worry for you, Claire?
Well, yes, it is, Nat, and I guess, I make it a real practice not to judge what other parents are doing. You've got kids, I've got kids. We never know what situation other parents are in. And if you've got a kid who's got type 2 diabetes, I imagine you're looking at every possible option. I think all of the medical professionals would say diet and exercise is your first port of call, but there's always a reason that parents, go to these other options. So I did read the reports. It is a bit of a worry, but I would just say, if you've got a sick kid, then you're going to be talking to your doctor about every possibility, and I don't judge that.
Yeah, it's a hard one, isn't it, Bridget?
It really is. You know, we've all been on the other end of parents judging parents in difficult situations, but the reality is diet and exercise have been shown to successfully manage diabetes, and at the end of the day, it's the doctors that are prescribing this, so they need to take some responsibility around that as well.
Yeah. Finally, Donald Trump has unveiled his next business venture while in office, a mobile smartphone. The Trump organisation will soon sell the T1 Mobile, costing $499 with a $47 5G plan on top, coloured in gold with an American flag engraved. The phone is promised to be proudly designed and built in the US of A. Clare, do you reckon this is how Albo could get the president on the phone more often?
I just want to know, does it come with unlimited tweets and texts
I was gonna
approved
ask
as part of the plan,
question.
Nat? Sign me up. A gold mobile phone. I love it. The bling. Awesome.
Has Albo got Trump's number on the new phone, Claire?
I don't think we've touched on this for a number of months. I'll leave the PM to talk about where his contacts are, but maybe it comes with the new mobile plan, Nat. Let's ask the president.
Okay. Bridget, should the Prime Minister invest in a Trump phone, do you think?
Well, he's got to do something, Nat, to get him on the phone. Maybe buying it will work. But I think Claire's right. I want to know if it comes with the optional Twitter handle to tweet you-know-who.
Okay. Gee, they do things differently in the US, don't they? Imagine you guys. Imagine Albo, bringing up his new phone plan. Thank you very much, guys. We'll see you next week. Here's Sherlock.